going to show you how to insert a counter stiffener in the back of your shoe. We've got this sort of piece of board down here on the table just to protect the surface because we're going to be using a heat gun. So if you do have a lovely dining room table, maybe just put a heat mat or something down if you can. Okay, come on around and let's get started. So to start off with, I'll just show you, we've got our pair of counters here. I'm only going to put one in to show you, but I just wanted to explain to you the lefts and rights. This little notch here actually indicates the back, and we want the shorter edge to go down the inside and the longer edge to go right down the outside of the shoe. So I know that this one is going with the shoe that I'm going to do today. So let me just show you here. We've also got a skived edge along the top. I like that skived edge to go against the lining like this. So the counter is sort of going to sit inside like that. So one other really important point before we get started, you want to pull the upper right up as far as you can, and preferably as far up as the stitching there, and that's going to avoid us having a baggy top line. So I'm going to put that to the side, and we're going to grab our heat gun. If you don't have a heat gun, you can use the hot setting on your hairdryer, but it will take a little longer to heat up. So let's start heating this so that it becomes malleable. Okay, you can see how that's become really malleable now, and we can actually take that to the back here and put it in place. So I really want to make sure I'm getting that top line as far up to the stitching as I can, and then you just sort of let it fall naturally down the side, and the same thing here. Okay, now what you'll end up with is sort of this gaping area here at the back where we've got the curve. My really simple trick for getting around this is to actually just put a pleat into the back of the shoe like that, and then just kind of crush it over the edge like so. And you really want to pinch that pleat in so that it's nice and tight to the last. Okay, so you can straight away just cut that off. So I'm just going to take some scissors here and literally snip it off like that. And you can see that now meets up perfectly. So we're not finished yet. We still need to smooth all of these edges down and make sure that this is sitting nice and flat. If you do have any standout pleats at this stage, you can go ahead and trim those off as well. Okay, so let's go back to the heat gun. The area that I want to heat first is going to be this sort of seam area. I'm going to take this little folding hammer, but any kind of hammer you have that's flat there will work perfectly. So first I'm going to reheat. And we just want to press it down. And that's literally fusing it back together. Okay. That's really nice and smooth now. Okay, so next thing I want to do is these edges here to get them nice and flat and to make sure that we don't have any ridges on the edge. And all I'm going to do is take that and sort of roll it over the edge like that. See how nice and smooth that is now? And we'll do the same thing here. You can even use your thumbs if it's not too hot to just really smooth that out. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this back section. I'm just going to get these front bits . And if you've got any excess like that, you can leave it, but if you want to You can also just remove that excess with a knife like that, if you want to keep it nice and neat underneath. All right, so the next part I want to focus on is just these areas here, making sure that they're nice and flat and that they're sort of secured onto the lining as well. Remember that this edge is skived down, so it's a bit thinner than the other areas, so it doesn't need quite as much heat. Okay, and let's do the same on the other side. Okay. We're pretty much done now, but I like to just give one little blast to the top line and just make sure that is really stuck down all the way. And we're all done. That's how you put a counter in. Just a reminder, we're using a heat gun to do this. If you have a head, I think we should start